Every once in a while I paint something that is so much fun to paint, it kind of gets a little addictive. I painted this, which I really enjoyed doing, and then I painted it again, and now I think we need to paint it together. And aside from my normal watercolor things, I do use a couple extra supplies in this tutorial. If you have any colored pencils or watercolor crayons, you're going to want to grab those for this one. And if you want to get a little fancy with it, you're also going to want some scrap paper, scissors, and some glue. Grab your watercolors and give them a good spritz. Then in one of my wells, I'm going to spray some water and I'm going to mix up a nice pink color. I do that by taking a damp brush, swirling it around the color that I want to use. I'm going to keep this one nice and simple and just do a pink, and then I'm going to swirl it around in that water, repeating that multiple times without washing my brush until the color is the saturation I want. Next up, you're going to want to make sure that you're near a lamp or a light source, because we're going to start with just water and we're going to place petals down on the page, and using a reflection will help you keep track of where you've put the water. And when I put these petals down, my goals are to make sure they don't touch in the center, they don't touch on the sides, and that I'm very loosely putting these down in 5 petals around an invisible center. And then once I have the water applied, I'm going to grab some of that pink and I'm going to drop it along all the edges of those petals. I'm going to repeat that, scattering these flowers around the page. Now, one of the things I really liked about the other ones I made was I ended up gluing an additional one on, so I'm going to make one more of these flowers on a separate scrap piece of paper. Then I'm going to grab an orange colored pencil, and in that center where I didn't touch any of them, I'm going to make some really jagged squiggles in kind of a circular shape. And you can use a variety of supplies for this, but the next thing I'm going to do is take a yellow watercolor pencil and I'm going to scribble right around that, and I'm going to let it touch into those wet parts just a little bit. Then I'm going to add one more ring with an ochre colored watercolor crayon, just squiggling out in kind of a circular shape. And I added all of those other things while everything was still a little bit wet, and since some of these are water soluble, they will bleed in just a bit. Next up, I'm going to wash my brush and then I'm going to mix up a green color. You could do any green color that you like. I'm going to plop down a couple leaves coming off of a few of these flowers, change my green a bit some more, and plop down a couple more. Then while my leaves are still a little bit wet, I'm going to take a green watercolor pencil, and I'm going to loosely outline some of these and draw lines down the center. Not on all of them though, because I want them all to have slightly different feels. And then we need to let it dry or make it dry. And then once it's dry, if you want, you can take another colored pencil and draw on top of some of the other leaves just to give them a slightly different look. And our final step is to cut out our extra flower and then figure out where we want to place it on the painting and glue it down. This is now my 3rd painting of this, and I kind of want to do another one. You should definitely try this because it's super fun to do.